Welcome to mock speaking test of IELTS. My name is Sherzod and I'm going to take your speaking test. And so, as you probably know, speaking test consists of 3 parts. In part 1, you'll be given questions about yourself. And in part 2, you'll be given a question and you'll have to talk for about 2 minutes. And you will be given time to take notes and think. And in part 3, there will be questions regarding part 2. Okay. And before we start, can I know your name, please?
My name is Umida.
Umida, okay. So let's talk about social media websites. Do you use social media?
Yes, I use. I tend to use an Instagram because I think it's really interesting social media I've ever used. Okay. And there are a lot of opportunities in Instagram, like you can get in touch with your friends and family, so I prefer to use an Instagram.
Okay. How often do you use social websites?
I try not to use it much because it always disturbs me when I'm doing my homework or when I try to concentrate on something. And I try to use 3 hours a day, and so.
Okay. And how open are you on social websites? Like, what kind of information about yourself you put on social media?
I like to put there the place where I'm learning. I try to show my experience, my friends, and also good things which I'm experiencing.
Okay, very good. And what you don't like about social media?
To be honest, I don't like one thing. It's when somebody writes me. So yeah.
Okay, and what is the best thing about social media?
Even though you are far from your hometown, you can get in touch with your friends, your family. You can send them your photographs and also receive theirs. I think it's a good thing.
Okay. And what do you think about people who use social media websites too much, maybe for 5, 6, or 7 hours a day?
I think it's not good because, as I mentioned earlier, it can disturb you. You can't concentrate on something more serious, and also I think it's not good for your eyes because when you look at screen, your eyes can get bored.
So it's bad for your health as well?
Yes, bad for health.
And not only for your physical health, but
yes.
also mental health as well. Yes, I agree with you. So, well, this is basically the end of part 1. And in part 2, you will have a question and also 1 minute to take notes and to think about it. So the question is, describe something that you liked very much, which you bought for your home. Okay, and you should say what you bought, when and where you bought it, and why you chose this particular thing, and explain why you like it so much. Okay? You have 1 minute to take notes and to think.
Okay. It was last month. I bought a coffee machine with my granny, and even though it was very expensive, I decided to buy it because I really like to drink a coffee, and almost every day my morning starts with a cup of coffee. I bought it online, and as I said earlier, I bought it last month. And also I love it because it is a single thing which I bought with my granny.
So this is the end of part 2, and in part 3 there will be questions regarding part 2. Do you think it's very expensive to make home look nice?
Yes, I think it's really expensive because people who want to decorate their home always tend to buy something especially expensive, like a sofa, and
Different furnitures.
Yes, different
Yes.
furnitures like this.
Okay. Why do some people buy lots of things for their home?
I think especially for decorating. As for me, we also tend to buy a lot of things to decorate and to look our house more beautiful, to make our house more beautiful.
Okay. Well, living in a flat is better because you don't have to do too much housework. You don't have to do gardening, right? You don't have to clean the outside of your house and so on and so on and so on. Okay. So, in what ways is living in a flat better than living in a house?
I think because it's more comfortable living in flats because there aren't a lot of work to do. For example, gardening, and you don't have to do a lot of things like domesticating animals and feeding them.
Yes, okay. Do you think that homes will look different in the future?
Yes, I think so, because now, because of the prevalence of technology, I think all things, not only house, but all things will look different. Maybe there were not any walls. Instead of them, there will be a lot of windows.
Maybe. Yes, okay. And the last question, do you agree that the kinds of homes people prefer change as they get older? Do you think the age of a person decides what kind of homes they would like to live in?
Yes, I think so, because when people get older, their preference also will change as they try to live in the countryside, because they try to live in a peaceful place.
Okay, thank you very much. That's the end of speaking test, and your result will be announced in 2 or 3 weeks. Thank you very much. And accept this criteria of speaking test, which are the fluency, grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, and so on. I would like to give her one advice, which is about the body language, the body positioning, because the whole test, during the whole test, she was very tense. She was not confident, but which is quite understandable. This is maybe because of the lack of experience. Yes, and so her fluency and coherence, I would assess it 5.5. The lexical resource is 6, and the grammar 5.5, and pronunciation is 6.5, and the overall is 6.